Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. If you are a first timer, then welcome to you guys. Thank you for being here. This channel and what we teach here is going to change the way that you guys trade in the stock market. Hey, we don't use indicators. We don't use anything except price action and what the candlesticks are telling us to do. This video right here, this is your weekly swing watch list for the week of December, what are we looking at? 12th. The week of December 12th. I put these weekly swing lists out for you guys every week. I send out daily watch lists for you guys every single day. So make sure you guys are subscribed down below, clicking that bell. That bell will give you the notifications for when I actually do send these videos out and any learning tools that I send out to help you guys with this strategy. I've got over 350 plus videos for you guys to learn this strategy, to immerse yourself, to become successful and profitable traders. That's what my goal here is, to get as many profitable, successful traders as we can. So thank you guys again for being here. I want to go through a couple things. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Clark Griswold, so go ahead. You can give me a follow there. You can DM me there to ask questions. You can do the same thing down below in the YouTube video or any of my YouTube videos. Or you can go into my Discord. The Discord has, it's a free Discord. The link is in the description below. There is a paid portion of that Discord for the Griswold Gold members, and it includes a lot of great stuff. Things like one-on-one with myself. So if you guys have questions and you want to go one-on-one with me, you can do it through that platform. A 1-hour strat course that I've created, the top 5 lists for the daily and the weekly and the monthly playlists that I put out. I send out a top 5 to the Griswold Gold members. There's live trading bots, there's strat indicators, there's a whole bunch of good stuff included with that membership. It's $50 a month, or you can buy 2 months and get that 3rd month free. So make sure you're checking that out in the Discord or in my pinned tweet on Twitter. Last thing I want to tell you guys, this screen that you see here is TradingView. If you're looking for a platform like this, in the link or in the description below, there's a link. It'll give you a free 30-day trial to TradingView. No obligations. You get a free 30-day trial to their subscription-based services. And then if you decide to use one of their sub-services, you get up to $30 off of that subscription. So make sure you are going and checking out and taking advantage of that free 30-day trial. Now, I'm going to get to the list in a second. I want to go through last week's list, last week's swing list, to show you guys just a quick breakdown of how things went, how many trades really would have worked and how many would not have. So the first one we look at is Apple. So Apple opened right here, where this little hand is, right here, and we came up through our trigger. We had a 2 down that finished green hammer candle. We came up, and then we reversed to an outside bar. So you could have taken a win here. Some people would have taken profit there. Some people probably didn't. And you would have probably been at a loss on this trade. And unfortunately, that's sometimes what happens. So when we look at this strategy, guys, or any trade or any strategy, it's all based off of probability. Anytime you have a strategy, for any trader out there who's giving you tips and hints and strategies, it's all based off of probability. There is nothing that's 100% in this game. Okay? It's all probability. Now, we take high probability trades, but they don't always work out, and that's where the risk management comes in. And the best traders are the best at managing their risk. So Apple, unfortunately, if you did take a profit, congratulations. If you didn't, again, losses are part of the business. Look at it as an expense of the business, okay? This is a business. Trading is a business. And unfortunately, your losses are just the expenses. But let's move on. I'll show you CAT. So CAT had a double inside bar, which I really love to play the double inside bars. It's 2 straight candles of consolidation, 2 straight weeks of consolidation for CAT. And we triggered, and we hit targets, and we hit second targets. Did we? Second targets? We were just shy of second targets, it looks like. So if I move this here, it was pretty close. Regardless, we hit target 1. You guys should have had a winner on CAT if you took it. So we are 1-1 from the trades from last week. IBM, we go into IBM. IBM is still sitting inside bar. So when we do the weekly swing list coming up here, IBM is going to be on that list, okay, because we have that inside bar. CVX, here's another one, guys. We triggered off of this inside bar, and we hit targets 1 and 2. This was a fantastic winner if you played CVX on the weekly swings. We go on to Disney. Disney had this hammer candle. We never triggered, so there was no trade on Disney. So right now you're basically 3-1 on your trades. If we go to GE, General Electric, we were looking for a trend back to the upside. We didn't get it. Trended down. We are still 3-1. As we move to Lucid, same thing. We were looking for a trend back to the upside. We did not get it, so we're still 3-1 on these weekly swing trades. We move on to XOM. So XOM, now we've gone to a 4-1 win rate. We're 4-1 on out of the 5 trades it triggered. Okay, inside bar, we triggered. We hit targets 1 and target 2. So anywhere in here, guys, again, another really fantastic trade on ExxonMobil. 4 wins, 1 loss. We move on to XOP. Here's another inside bar shooter candle break where we hit target 1, 2, 3, and we were just shy of target 4. So again, now we are, is this 5-1? 6-1? I can't remember. I lost count. But 1 loss out of everything that triggered, and that was on Apple. And then again, this last one off of LTHM was given off of the inside bar. We triggered, hit target 1, hit target 2 right here, hit target 3, and we were shy of target 4, but it might still catch it next week. But again, guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was GE one of them? Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-1 out of 8 trades that triggered for the weekly swings. 7 of them were winners, guys. 7. So make sure you're watching this weekly swing list. Make sure you're paying attention and learning how to trade this stuff, because it's not rocket science to learn it. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes some energy, but the rewards in the end of becoming a trader far away any job where you're working for a boss. Okay? You are your own boss when you're a day trader. Okay? And that's where I want to get you guys. If that's something you want to do, that's where I want to get you guys. I want to get you guys some money in your pocket, some cheese in your fridge. I want to get you guys there. So make sure you're watching these videos, the learning tools, and getting there. Let's get into the actual watch list for the week of December 12th. All right, so let's get started with Adobe. So Adobe's got this inside bar. If you guys have followed me for any amount of time, you know how much I enjoy the inside bars. You know how much I tell you guys if you're new or struggling to play those inside bars. So if you're new, I'll explain to you what this inside bar represents. So the inside bar, or a 1 bar, when we're dealing with our strategy, the Strat, the 1 bar does not break the high or the low of the previous candle. And this is true on all time frames. It's a consolidating candle and it's a tightening range. And if you have the Griswold Strat indicator, your inside bars will be painted yellow like you see here. And when you see those yellow bars, I want you guys to think of something being compacted and tightened, almost like a Jack-in-the-Box or like the little Christmas boxes. And we look for an explosion to the one side or the other of that inside bar. And we can go back in time to look at the theory of how this works. And we have 2 perfect examples here. And let me preface by saying this is not always the truth. It's the inside bar, and any strategy in any trade, again, is based off of probability. And the higher the probability, the better chance we have of our trade working out. And again, when you have probability, then you can add, and that element of risk becomes prevalent in your strategy, because the best traders, guys, the very best, the ones that you see all over Twitter are they're the best at risk management. Okay, those are the best day traders, swing traders. They have the best risk management. They're not YOLOing it. They're not going in and hoping. They have really good risk management, and their strategy and their trades are also all based off of probability. So when we look at this inside bar, probabilities say, yes, we should have a big explosion to the upside or downside. That's exactly what we get right here off of this bar here. And then we have another inside bar. Probabilities tell us we should have a really big explosion off of the inside bar. Well, sure enough, that's exactly what we get. We can go back and look at another one. This wasn't a huge explosion, but we hit triggers. We triggered here, and then we hit the first target, which is just the top of that preceding wick. And again, it doesn't always work. Here we gapped down and then we came back and closed up here. So again, high probabilities. And I had somebody ask me in the Discord and a DM asking me about win rates. And when you ask somebody what the win rate is of the strat, well, that's very dependent on a lot of things. It depends on the trader. It depends on the setup he's taking, because the strat has multiple different setups. And it depends on the risk management of that trader. Because like I told him, you can have 6 trades and you can win one of those trades and you can be in the green. Okay? You can have a winning portfolio. But if you're poor at risk management, well, that 1 out of 6, now you're negative. Now you've lost money. But a really good trader can win 1 trade out of 6 and still be very, very profitable, because they cut their losers and they let their winners run. And that's the exact opposite of what, I don't even know a percentage, but the majority of traders, it's 180 from what the majority of the traders do, where they let their losers run and they cut their winners. Because, and everybody I've talked to says the same thing. Everybody I coach says the same thing. They say that's so true, because what ends up happening is you see that red and you're like, man, I hope this goes green again. And you hold and you hold and you hold. But then you have a trade that goes green and you're like, man, I've had so many red trades. I'm finally in the green. I got to sell it. And you don't let the candlestick stop you out. And you don't let the target stop you out. And that's what, again, makes a successful trader. Anyways, we're going to move on here. Adobe has his inside bar. We're going to look for calls at 340.51, puts at 324.35. Those numbers I'm grabbing are right here. Those pink markers, those are my weekly triggers, are in pink. And then again, first target to the upside, first target to the downside here, second target here. That's on Adobe. We're going to move on to BA. That's Boeing. Boeing has a 2 up that finished red, so 2s are directional candles. They only break one side of the previous candle. So in this instance, we broke to the upside. That's a 2 up. And we're going to look for this. That gives me probability that this is going to trend down. We're at the top of a broadening formation. So we'll look for puts at 174.62. And again, first targets, bottom of the preceding wicks, bottom of the preceding wicks, bottom of the preceding wicks. We'll move on to Chewy. Chewy has an inside bar, an actual 3-1 setup. So again, these are high probability plays, these 3-1 setups. And you can see we go back in time. The white bars painted white with that indicator comes with the Griswold Gold membership, or you can buy it separately. Outside bar, inside bar, a nice 2-week run up. Outside bar, inside bar. What's going to happen on this one? We'll find out. We can take triggers at 45.63 for the calls and puts at $40.20. CL is Colgate Palmolive. CL has that 3-1 setup as well. So calls at 78.36, puts at 76.69. And you see these little blue markers that I've got here and the yellow lines. That's the representatives for the day trades. Those are the triggers for the day trades. The greens are the targets for the day trades. So in the day trade video, I'm going to go through those. But you can see a lot of times if we trigger the day, a lot of times that moves into a position where we will trigger the week. Here's another 3-1 setup, and we triggered and we hit targets, and then that was it. We'll move on to CSCO with the inside bar on Cisco. So calls at 49.64, puts at 48.06 on Cisco. Home Depot. Home Depot with the 3-1 setup and an inside hammer candle. So we can look for calls on Home Depot at 325.52. This is one of the setups I quite like Home Depot on this one. Calls at 325.52, puts at 314.44. Now, most times, guys, I tell you, I only look at stocks or tickers with tight spreads between the bid and the ask. Home Depot is not one of those. Excuse me. But when we're looking at swing trades, I will take a limit order because I have a little bit more time for this thing to develop. So I can take a limit order, and I've got a little bit more time for that thing to make sure it gets filled. But the last 3-1 setup on Home Depot that was effective, here was one, but it ended up being a double inside bar. We look for that gold highlight. Here it is. We triggered, we hit targets plus a little bit. So again, high probability plays. They're very rare, but they tend to work out very, very well for us. We move on to IBM. IBM has the inside bar as well. So IBM, we can look for calls at 149.15, puts at 146.29. Coca-Cola, a tight, really tight inside bar, and I like to see that because to me, that's telling me there's likely to be, if we don't gap somewhere here, we're likely to have a really big run to the upside or the downside. Now again, inside bars of a Coca-Cola, we triggered, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4-week run up. Okay, inside bar off of Coca-Cola, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-week run down. Okay, inside bar, beautiful break up, trigger and target. Inside bar, triggers for 2 weeks. We didn't hit targets, or we did hit targets right here. First target, plus. Okay, so a really good run. So again, the inside bars, high probability plays, guys. We'll look for calls at 63.88, puts at 63.09 on Coca-Cola. We move on to MasterCard. MasterCard is very similar to Home Depot, where the premiums are a little bit more and the spreads are a little bit further apart, but you can get those filled on your limit orders. So calls at 358.90 on MasterCard, puts at 341.47. Moderna, we also have this 3-1 setup, so calls at 185.41, puts at 169.70. The last 3-1 on Moderna, we look for that golden highlight, and there we have it. And here, we triggered, and for 1, 2, 3, 4 straight weeks, we trended up. So a really good play off of the 3-1 for Moderna. We'll look for that same thing to happen here as we come into the middle of December. Microsoft, that's Mr. Softy, 3-1 setup again for this one. I won't go back in time for this, but an inside bar. It's got good magnitude to the upside and the downside. We can look for calls at 253.82, puts at 242.21. There's also a setup on the daily. Nike also set up on the daily. Looks like an inside bar. We can go check that out in a second, but we can look for calls on the weekly at 111.49, puts at 106.75. Those numbers on the right again. So we look for a break of that inside bar. If we go to the daily, there's also an inside bar. So here's the thing. If we trigger to the upside, we also trigger to the weekly. Trigger to the upside on the daily, we trigger the weekly. If we hit second, looks like second targets, a little bit more than that, on the daily for Nike, then we also trigger the weekly to the downside on Nike. So that's the domino effect. Sarah Strat Sniper talks about that quite often, the domino effect, how if we trigger the day, we trigger the week, and then we trigger into the month. Starbucks, top of a broadening formation, inside bar. We're looking for that reversal back down on Starbucks. So we can look for calls at 104.24, still probable. Good targets to the upside, or puts at 101.06. And again, good magnitude to the downside at $98. Now, let's say we're taking puts on this, and you're like, Clark, what are we taking for strike prices? Well, for me, my strike price is 100, maybe 99 I go to. For a strike price, and then expiries I get 2 weeks out, guys. So don't get this Friday, get next Friday as your expiry, okay? If you want to do 1 week, that's fine. If you want to do more than 1 week, more than 2 weeks, again, that's your prerogative. I do the 2 weeks for the weekly swings. XL Energy, another inside bar for XEL. So calls at 70.41, puts at 68.42 on XEL. We go to XLU with the inside bar. Calls at 71.61, puts at 70.26. And again, I know we have a daily inside bar because this yellow circle around this time frame continuity indicator from my indicator is telling us that. So we go to the daily. There's our double inside bar on XLU. So this is something that I would be watching, guys. We have this double inside bar on XLU. We're looking for breaks to the high side or the low side. We're also looking for a break off of the weekly inside bar. So we'll see if we get that. And then if we do break the weekly, we've got really good magnitude to both sides. So we'll see how XLU plays out running into next week. XLV also with that inside bar. Let's move this up to where it should be. There we go. Calls at $140 even, puts at $137.94. If you guys are finding this information helpful, make sure you are subscribing down below. Give me a thumbs up. Leave your comments. Join me on Twitter and get in on that Discord. The link is in the description below. Join that membership. Get your one-on-ones. Get your live trading bots. I hope you guys have a great trading week, and we will see you guys all on the next one. Bye-bye.